Don't Fear the Vegan is Salem's television resource for vegan lifestyle information and is intended for the vegan curious and the vegan connoisseur alike. The following telecast contains scenes of extreme deliciousness that may be inappropriate for hungry viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
As I was trying to figure out a topic for this episode of Don't Fear the Vegan, I reached out to our Facebook friends to find out what they had heard as reasons people just couldn't go vegan. Sarah Jane shared with us that she had been told about a person who went vegan but couldn't stay healthy. A while back, I worked near the campus of the University of Washington and worked with a lot of college students who were away from mom and dad for the first time and decided that they too were going to go vegan. A vegan diet to them consisted of French fries, vodka, and Oreos. By all intents and purposes, it is vegan, but no, you're not going to get healthy. And after a couple weeks, they would all come in looking pale and green. And that's where I would step in, often sharing healthy recipes, giving them books that told them how to be healthier vegans, and sometimes even cooking for them. With that in mind, I decided to make a light, refreshing meal that's packed with healthiness. We have an eggless salad sandwich, a dill cucumber salad, and a mix of fresh berries with cashew cream. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we're going through a hot spell. Yeah, you're probably saying 75 degrees to us is hot, and you'd be right. But this week we hit the 90s, and we're forecasted for the hundreds in a couple of days. I was reluctant to turn on my oven or stove because it's just too darn hot. So I opted to teach everyone how to make an eggless egg salad, and we're using garbanzo beans as our protein. I realize that all of you have a different recipe for egg salad. I'm sure every mom out there makes her own version, so feel free to add whatever you want. The most important part are the dry seasonings because that will kind of mimic the flavor of the egg. But after that, add whatever your heart desires, whether it's olives or relish or celery or dill. Seriously, add whatever you want. This is just a base, and this can be your foundation for an easy egg salad. I've opted to use canned, drained garbanzo beans today, but you could also use fresh that you've boiled, or sprouted is really good as well. It adds a little bit different flavor to the dish, but it's also good if you're going for more of a raw thing. The first thing you're going to want to do with the garbanzo beans is mash them up to give them a different texture. I try to disguise them so they no longer look like garbanzo beans. And for those of you that are worried about protein, garbanzo beans will give you 6 grams of protein per a half cup serving, which is about what you get in a sandwich when you're done. So I call them garbanzo beans for this recipe, but sometimes I call them chickpeas. I can never decide. I'm pretty sure on my blog they're written both ways. What do you call them? Garbanzo beans or chickpeas? Let me know in the comments on the blog. Okay, so we have them pretty well mashed up. No longer really looks like a bean. Kind of has a hummus look, but not as creamy. We want it kind of chunky to give it some texture. I never said it was pretty. So now that we've mushed it up to a pretty good, ugly consistency, we're gonna add all of our ingredients to make the salad. Our first ingredient is gonna be a half cup of vegan mayo, your choice on what brand you like. Okay, and then we're gonna add some turmeric for that eggy color. And then for salt, I highly recommend, if you have it, a Himalayan salt or even a black salt if you can find it. The different colored salts have a higher sulfur content, and especially for fake eggs, it gives it more of that egg flavor. And I'm also adding a little bit of garlic powder, some nutritional yeast, and now tamari. You could also replace the tamari with Bragg's or soy sauce. I prefer tamari, and if you are gluten-free, there is gluten-free tamari. And then just a little bit of Dijon mustard. If you don't like things as spicy, you could also add yellow mustard. And then before adding my other ingredients, I'm gonna mix this up together. Okay, from here, you can choose whatever you want. You could actually stop at this point and have a pretty decent sandwich, but I like things with a little more stuff in them. We're gonna add some sweet relish, celery, and I chop my celery up really small, hoping that my daughter won't notice because she hates it. And the same for the onions. And if I wasn't married to my husband, I would add olives, but he's Italian and doesn't like olives. I don't understand. So we're gonna start mixing that part up. Oh, and I almost forgot I had some dill in my garden. It's the best part of this time of year, a lot of fresh ingredients to use. And I'm just gonna pick apart some to add to that because we love fresh dill in my house. Oh, it smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Now that we've mixed it all up, we're gonna get the rest of our sandwich makings ready, which allows it to sit and get all the flavors mixed together. You can refrigerate it if you want. I prefer it unrefrigerated. You decide. Now that the salads had time to sit, we're gonna go ahead and make the sandwich. I have 2 slices of bread. Just gonna pile it on there. I like it thick. So for our sandwich today, I've opted for some tomato, a little bit of avocado. If you follow my blog, you know I'm allergic to avocado, but I love it and I can have it in small doses without getting too sick. It's worth the risk. If I wasn't allergic, I'd put a lot more than that, but 2 slices is about my limit. But I also like things a little on the spicier side, so I'm gonna add some jalapeno. We have these great bacon bits that we bought from the bulk section at LifeSource. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of those on top. And then some lettuce out of our garden. Spinach also works really well too. I'm a little slow, but I just realized the sandwich is almost like a BLT with avocado, but baconless and eggless. It looks delicious. So good, but a little messy. Enjoy.
Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed Steffi enjoying a cool, refreshing beverage while filming this episode. Can you guess what Steffi was drinking? Iced tea? At Dr. Becker's. Bourbon and cola? Mexican Coke. Stay tuned for the answer later in our broadcast.
When I searched the web for what I could serve with an eggless salad sandwich, potato chips, french fries, and dill pickles kept coming up. Unfortunately, I couldn't really teach you how to make any of those things, so I opted to make a dill cucumber salad. And to make the idea even better, my friend Bertha gave us cucumbers from her garden, so I didn't even have to buy any. How cool is that? Before I start though, let's talk about cucumber skin. I always peel my cucumber. You might like not to peel it. I hear there's more vitamins in a cucumber if you don't. However, I hate the skin, so I get rid of it. Plus, our pig Astrid loves it, so it's a win-win for everyone. I wish you could smell these. These are like the most fragrant cucumbers I've ever smelled. When you cut these, you want to cut them as thin as possible. This is my grandma's recipe, and when she cut them, she would use a paring knife and just hold the cucumber. That's harder for me, so I like to do it this way better. I'm sorry, but I just have to taste this. It smells so amazing. Wow, it's so juicy and so sweet. Let's delicious. I'm guessing it's about a pound of cucumber. I'm not really sure though. I don't have a scale to weigh them on. So when my grandma taught me how to make this salad, she always told me to put the salt on first and stir it into the cucumbers. She said because it helped the cucumbers, I guess they'd get more liquidy and maybe help absorb. I realized today as I was getting ready to talk about this that I've never looked it up. I don't know if there's any scientific truth to it. If any of you know why you would put salt on the cucumbers first, let me know. I'd love to hear. My grandma's not around to ask anymore. So I'm just gonna put the salt on there like she taught me and set it aside. And while I'm letting that sit, I'm gonna go ahead and start making my vinaigrette. So I have apple cider vinegar, and I'm using white balsamic vinegar. She always used white vinegar, but I didn't have regular white vinegar. And then some raw sugar and sour cream. I'm just gonna whisk this together. And of course, oh, and I didn't mention, it's vegan sour cream. Everything I use is vegan. Okay, we have it pretty well mixed. We wanna get as many of the clumps out of the sour cream as possible. I'm gonna grab the cucumber bowl back. We're gonna add some onions that are already chopped up to it. And then some dill from my garden. I'm just gonna pull it apart. You could chop it up if you like, or you could use dried dill. It's up to you if you don't have fresh dill. But I learned this year that dill is really easy to grow, so I'll probably grow it forever now. And it's probably about 2 tablespoons of dill total. It was 2 sprigs. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pour over the vinaigrette and mix it in. And then we're gonna set it aside to sit for a while so it has time to marinate. And remember with this, you can use any kind of vinegar you want. A lot of times when we're making Asian dishes, I'll substitute for rice vinegar. I try not to use the darker vinegars like dark balsamics because it changes the color and it's not as appealing. So how could we have an episode without a dessert? When we first went vegan, we craved decadence because we didn't know how to do it. It's really easy though, especially since we discovered cashew cream. Cashew cream is so easy that Anzia made it for us tonight. One of the greatest things about living in the Pacific Northwest is that we have berries everywhere growing. Not yet. In our backyard, we have blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and we have blackberries. Unfortunately, our blackberries weren't ripe yet, so we had to steal them from my mom's backyard. Back in the day when my husband and I were vegetarian, we would go to a resort in Sedona, Arizona called the Enchantment, where they had the most amazing breakfast. And all it was an assortment of berries that were in season with heavy cream and brown sugar. It was one of our favorite things in the world, and we could have easily made it at home, but it always tasted so good while we were there. We learned how to make that with cashew cream, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. So Anzia is gonna show you how to make the cream, and I'm gonna start on getting the strawberries and the rest of the berries ready.
Cashew cream. Learn it, live it, love it.
What's today to put in the cashew cream? Now maple syrup. Now the brown sugar. Now whisk it in to mix it all. Once my slowpoke mom is done, we can eat it.
I'm trying. A lot of strawberries. So what I did is I sliced the strawberries because they were bigger up in smaller, more bite-sized pieces. And we have Anzia's mix here. Let's get a little bit more of this. We're just gonna stir this together. Yeah. Delicious. You wanna try? Okay, so then we just pour it over. It almost has the taste of melted ice cream. It's delicious. And if you wanted, you could also add vanilla or vanilla bean to it. I didn't have any tonight to add, so we went without. As you can see, super easy. It took a matter of 5 minutes. Now try it, Anzia. Is it good? Now to serve, we're gonna put it into a bowl. And we have fresh lemon balm growing in our yard, so we're gonna add that to the top just to make it a little prettier, plus it tastes good. And serve. So delicious, so healthy. If you want to make it even prettier, you could sprinkle a little brown sugar on the top. That's good just as it is. Tastes like melted ice cream, huh?
Thank you for staying tuned for the answer to this edition of What is Steffi Drinking? If you said C, bourbon and cola, you would be correct. Thank you for playing.
Thank you for coming to hang out in our kitchen today. All the recipes can be found on Don't Fear the Vegan. We hope you feel a little more comfortable in the vegan kitchen now, especially knowing that a 10-year-old was able to make some of this stuff. Probably all of it, right? Yeah. Have a good day and let us know if there's anything you wanted for us to try. Don't fear the vegan.